All right. Good evening, everybody. So welcome to NSC Bootcamp 2, the backend track in particular. Yeah, I hope we can see my screen. Yeah, we're just...
No, it's only showing blue.
Oh, you can't see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Let me do that again. All right, now you should be able to see my screen because I am seeing it. I'm seeing that it's sharing.
I can't see it. I can't see it here. It's only showing blue. I don't know if the second person can see it.
Ridwan, can you see my screen? Okay, your network seems to be very off. I think what you do is try and pin. Okay.
Yes.
So we don't waste too much time.
Right.
No.
Yeah, yes, I can.
You can see my screen.
Trying to navigate to the lecture where I'm going to.
Okay, that is fine. Yeah, well, I think try and first of all try and just pin me and see whether my screen will come up. Are you on your mobile or on your system?
On mobile.
Yeah, so just try and pin on the video call. See if you can pin me. That is pin my chats. I see whether it will come up.
I'm very sorry, sir. I'm really trying to navigate between the lecture.
It's pinned already. Maybe I should join again.
Yeah, join again. Yeah, read one. It's fine. I got you. Just try and pay attention.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, as time goes by, we'll try to find a more suitable time. So how is it now?
It's still the same thing.
Yeah, that means that you are not. That means that you are not trying to view my screen yet. You have to. There's this what is it called? It's almost like a layered screen icon at the top right. I mean bottom right. Try and click on it if you're on mobile and see if it will pop up my screen. Okay. I don't want this to take too much of our time. So what we do is I want to believe all of us have Slack on our mobile. If you can see it, so what we do is we'll switch over to Slack. Do we all have Slack on our mobile?
Yes, I do. I have Slack.
Read. How about you? Do you have Slack on your mobile?
Yes, I have Slack.
Okay, perfect. So we'll switch over to Slack. That means there won't be any recording for this video, for this class. All right then.
Can read one see your screen?
Yeah, yeah, you can. You still can't see it.
I don't know, maybe it's from my end. It's just showing like a blue screen here. I don't know why. A
Mm,
blue screen.
yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. And if you click on the blue screen to just click on the blue screen to see whether it brings out any options. Okay, you know what? Since I'm recording, let's go ahead with this. I'll ask them to make this video available. Okay, so though you won't be able to see, but just listen to what I'm saying. Then if there are any questions, uh, you can raise the questions. Okay, where did they go to now? All right. I'm still trying to wait for Lide to come back since he has been desperately trying to join in. Okay then, let me just go ahead. Yeah, so for this class, it's just like an introduction into backend development. So we're looking at backend development and its rules in web applications. Yeah. So let's make this bigger. What is backend development? So backend development is like the behind the scenes work that powers your web application. Yeah, so when we say backend, it's specific in the software niche. We know who we're talking about, this set of people. So almost from the name, you kind of get the idea. Backend is those who are doing the work at the back. It's called back because the user doesn't necessarily interact with whatever is happening there. It's only via the front end. It's only the front end that they usually meet and interacts with all the time. So that's why it's called the backend. So backend is where you handle server-side logic, databases, application functionality, and so many other things. All right. So the key components of backend development. So we have the server. Yeah, the server is a computer. Let this be registered. The server is just a computer, a system somewhere. Um, your local machine, that is your laptop, your PC, can be used as a server. Though there are specific machines that are called servers. Uh, they have specific ports. They have specific kind of architecture for them. But at the end of the day, it is still a computer because it will have the CPU, it will have the ALU, it will have necessary uh, processing units. So your server is just a computer And in the backend development, the server is a computer that hosts an application. So the server receives requests from the user's browsers and processes them and generates a response. Yeah, we also have a database. Database basically is just to store data. We'll also look at this in detail further down. And you have so basically backend developers use the backend to interact with database itself, which is also hosted on another server. Like I said, server is a computer, so it's hosted on another computer, or it could be hosted on the same computer um, your backend server is working on. Server is just a computer. Don't let's get it confused. So application logic, your backend is best suited for handling most of the application logic. It's best suited to um, take away uh, most of the logic that any application is performing from the front end to the back end. I am of the opinion that the back end should be the one source of state. Uh, we explain this later. So basically, every task.
Yeah, I can
Um,
see it now. I can see your screen now.
oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. So the video is being recorded, so it will be shared. So the parts that was missed, you can get it. Yeah. So we've spoken about what is backend and the key components of backend development. So now the roles of backend in web applications, as we've seen in the key components, for data management, that is basically, like we said, um, retrieving and storing data in database. That for security reasons, it is very vital that it's just kind of like, let's say it's common sense that some operations that should happen during web any web application shouldn't be performed on the front end, because the front end is very open. It is easily it's very vulnerable. It can be easily uh, it can be easily breached on the front end. So when you have certain information that you want to be kept secret, it's best to do it on the back end. Take for example, you're creating an app that handles transactions from a user's bank to a particular service. It's going to be very catastrophic for you to perform most of those operations on the front end. It will cost you. Can probably find yourself in jail for that. That's why it's advised that if you are storing when you are creating an app and you're going to end up storing a user's card details, you have to be very sure that you know what you are doing. So even when you are even doing it on the back end, you still have to be very sure you know what you are doing. Because once that information is breached, it's trouble. So also for user authentication, we have applications here and there, and each application wants to know each user because they want to give each user their own experience, their own specific experience. So, and the only way to do that is for them to know you. That is the idea of authentication. So each application wants to know a user. So this is also done on the back end because it's also a sensitive operation. It isn't something that should be happening in the front, on the front end. So we also have server-side rendering. Like I said earlier, the server, that is the back end of any application, should kind of be like the one true source of state. When I say state, let's just say for now, um, I'm wrapping what I'm saying in quotes. For now, let's call it data. state is more than that, but let's just say users' data or an application's data. So the server should be the one true source for that state, for state. So that means that basically once an operation happens, if the server is in charge of rendering what the user sees, it means that no matter it means whatever is going to be rendered to the user will always be consistent, since the server is the one handling uh, the rendering. The other the other the other side is what we call the client side rendering, which um, React has made very popular. Uh, that is, so the client is the one that does the rendering. So the client manages state and decides what is being seen. But server side rendering is the server that will decide what the user will see. So that is one of the things backend can help you do. Then APIs, the backend is used for creating APIs, uh, which is also one of the things we will discuss even further down in this class. Then for scalability, backends assist in scalability. On the backend, you can easily scale out um, the computer resources you have available for your apps to be able to manage user traffic, data, and the rest. So that's kind of like the summary for backend. So the class is not necessarily practical. From tomorrow, we'll probably start practice. It's just to introduce us into what backend is, to ensure everybody's on the same page. So backend development is a crucial aspect of web development, focusing on server side operations, data management, application logic. So the backend works in tandem with your front end to create a fully functional, secure, and efficient web application. Okay, so I want to discuss third-party modules. It's just very brief so that we're aware of it as soon as we start using things like this. So modules in any programming language are just like uh, you can call they are like resources. Okay, better still, let's use programming terminology. They are scripts that do a specific set of tasks. That is a module. So now, third-party modules simply means this module doesn't belong to your app. It's from an external source. So you can call them external modules as well. So there are libraries or packages that we can install from our different package managers. For those in JavaScript, package manager can be npm, yarn, everything good. For those in Python, they are pip and all those things. So they are just pre-built sets of functionalities created by other developers that give you a way to implement certain features without you starting from scratch. Yeah, that's for third-party modules. So I'm saying this because very soon, once we start and you're given projects, yeah, you probably be using so many third-party modules. All right, is there any questions before I go ahead? We're not done. Like we still have to discuss APIs. So any questions? Questions? Or should I move on? Just let me know. The class is interactive. Let me know. Should I move on?
Yes, you can move on. You can move on.
All right. Which is basically what most backend developers do. APIs, creating of APIs. What is an API? It's an application programming interface. So API is just simply a set of rules that different software applications follow to interact with one another. The point is, we are dealing with machines, right? these machines are not people. That's they function differently. A machine can have a setup and a specification. Machine A can have this set of specification. Machine B can have another set of specifications. Same thing with software. Software can be built in one language, in JavaScript. Another software can be built in Python, in Ruby. Another one can be built in Java and the rest. So APIs allow these softwares to communicate with each other by following a set of rules. So in the case of web applications, you have your front end. Your front end can be built in um, most of the times JavaScript. The backend can be built in any other language aside from JavaScript. So API allows that your JavaScript front end to be able to communicate with your backend that was built in any language. So they are just rules for exchanging information. Um, that is what an API is. So it's an application programming interface. So key concepts of API. So you have API just serves as I've explained, a bridge between different software systems. Then API generally always have your request and your response. So API requests for a specific information or action, then the API also does the response necessary. So now your API has different data formats. So API uses data formats that it chooses to use. So you have JSON is a very common one. XML was common back in the days, but JSON is the most common one now. So it's used to structure the information being sent and received. Yeah, so types of APIs. So you have the RESTful APIs, which is the most common API. REST just means representational state transfer. Kind of like says it embodies all that is needed for a successful API communication. So this type of architecture basically is where you have your HTTP methods being defined. You have your get, your post, your put, delete for communication. So those four verbs are kind of like the columns on which the rest stands. So it depends on what method it is you're looking at. Your API knows type of response it's supposed to give back, type of request is expecting, type of response that should come back. You have SOAP, which is not a very common one. It's common in some softwares architecture, but not necessarily common in web app. So it's a protocol for exchanging structured information in web service. So SOAP uses XML for data exchange. Then you have your JSON RPC, which is just remote procedure. Remote procedure is, we're not necessarily going to be using this, but remote procedure just simply means it follows the procedural type of communication. When you say procedure, we're just simply saying you have one operation that manages a particular kind of action. Then you have another operation that is requesting from that other operation what it does. That is basically your remote procedural call. So A is let's say A is a kitchen staff in a restaurant. All right, can we hear me? Yeah, can we hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, sorry about that. My network cut off. So is my screen still visible? I don't think it is. So let me quickly go back to that. Right, can we see my screen now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So basically I've explained types of APIs. Well, the major API which is our concern is majorly RESTful API. Is going to be what we're going to be using a lot. So use cases for APIs is in web development, mobile app development, and Internet of Things. So the point is, like I've explained, API is supposed to allow softwares or computers communicate with each other. That's kind of the language of for computers. So and yeah, how API works. So you have a request. We'll see all these once we go into coding. So your application makes a request to an endpoint. Like we said, API is a well-structured set of instructions that one computer is requesting for. So it will have a specific action and the data it needs. So when I'm saying action, what this API wants to be done. Is it trying to get a resource? Is it trying to create a resource? Is it trying to delete a resource? So all those kind of stuff. Then with the data along, then you have the processing. The processing, that is the server does the processing, probably is to fetch data, probably request another service, an external service. Then you have your response, which is what goes back um, from your API. So the benefits of using API is it gives modularity. It allows developers to build on existing functionalities without knowing the internal workings. So um, you can have access to, take for example, if you are going to be using something like Google's map, you don't have to necessarily know what Google, how Google wrote their code to give us the maps that we use. All you just need to do is consume that their API that they've made open for us. You consume the API and you can just go ahead and use it. That is the whole idea of APIs. You have scalability, so you can consume multiple APIs, or once you make an update to a particular service, the API is kind of still remains the same, but it will always give you the new data that was requested. My network is doing now. We are wrapping up, so let me just finish sharp sharp. So let's start with quick. Um, so server-side programming, basically, like we've almost explained, is code that runs on the server, handles requests from client-side applications. Uh, in contrast to client-side programming, this which runs on the browser, server-side programming executes on the server, where we manage data, logic, and interactions. So server-side logic, basically, like you said, whatever logic that your app needs to perform, you can write it on the server side. Uh, Dynamic content generation. So your server side gives you the ability to generate content dynamically. Web pages can be made dynamically. Yeah, definitely. Your client can also do that, or you can also do that with the server as well, on the server as well. and security. So server side allows you to create a well secured, authenticated application. Like I've explained earlier, you can't necessarily guarantee a secured application on the client side. So the server side is best suited for that. And common languages for server side programming, JavaScript. Um, it's clear, yeah, I'm going to raise this here and I'll raise it as much as often as I can raise it. Node.js is not a language, it's just a runtime. JavaScript is the language. So for we that use Node.js, we are JavaScript developers. So yeah, those are the various languages. The other languages aside from that, aside from those that I raised. So major differences, just to give us an idea of what we're doing. Your client side runs in users' browsers. It handles user interface and interaction. Then definitely we're using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But your server side, it executes on the server. It manages data logic and interaction. It has no business with the user interface. Then implement security measures, process the request, and can use any app supported programming language. Yeah, so your use cases for server-side programming, in database operations, in user authentication, and API sums it up for today's class. So like I said, today's class is not in any way practical. It was just to give us a brief overview of what we'll be doing. Tomorrow we'll now start. Yeah, we'll start the interesting stuff. Yeah, this is still the boring stuff. So tomorrow we'll start the real interesting stuff. So I don't know if we've all seen the pin messages on our Slack on the Slack channel. Well, first of all, are we all in the Slack channel? That is the backend stage one Slack channel. Yeah,
Yes,
Rich.
I'm on Slack. I'm on Slack.
All right. Yeah, what is your name on Slack? What is your username on Slack?
Ivy.
Yeah. So can you let your Slack name and your Telegram display name, both of them should match?
Match, right?
Can set
Okay.
both of them should match. Yeah.
Okay, I'll change it
Yeah.
to Olaide Abiola, right?
No, anything of your choice. You can either change.
Okay. Okay, I'll change it.
So it doesn't mean I have to register on Slack, changing my name.
Telegram, you can change Slack, anything you wish to change it to. All right. Sadiq, yeah, are you on the Slack channel? I think you are.
I'm on Slack too, but I think I am
Yeah.
having different username.
Well, your own is kind of the same thing. Yeah, I know Redone is on Slack. So yeah, like I said, so let's just pay attention to information is going to be spread majorly on the Slack channel. Necessary information we need. So let's just pay attention to those instructions. Please go to the announcements important channel. All right. So go through the announcement important channel, get necessary announcements. Then definitely messages from mentors in the back end. Backend mentors will also be in the backend stage one track. So you can pay attention there. So yeah, that'll be so in the backend stage one task
And
track, that will be for
excuse me,
all
sir.
things backend.
I have a
Yeah,
question
yeah.
regarding the backend. It's over two sections for the Python and Node.js. So, are we going to be dealing with the two, or our own
Oh no,
backend
no.
section is for the Node.js, right?
So tomorrow, definitely, we are going to be split into two. Those who are doing Python and those who are doing Node.js.
Okay.
That's what, yeah.
Okay. Are you the one
So if,
are you the one taking notes for both, or you're going to take the Node.js?
like about two of us that take JavaScript, so yeah, I'll probably be.
Okay.
But tomorrow, I'm going to take in tomorrow's class.
Okay.
Yeah.
And besides, I have a question regarding using of Node.js actually. Now,
Sorry.
application. I want to ask a question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Uh, Application built using Node.js. I mean, for the backend, and others like Python, the Django. I think I used to hear this, or maybe based on my research, that JavaScript mostly outshines when it comes to maybe a real time application like a chat app or something like that. Is it that can JavaScript? My question is, can JavaScript do everything that other backend language like maybe PHP, Laravel, and Python, Django? Can it also do that efficiently, or there are use cases where Node.js should be is applicable? That's my
Okay.
question.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The question is clear. So, JavaScript. So, like I've said earlier, let's make this clear. Node.js is just a runtime. It is not the tool used, but definitely Node.js provides an environment where JavaScript can run on the server. And to answer your question, JavaScript as a language or every programming language is suited for major reasons. I mean, for different purposes. Um, I won't say JavaScript. Okay, first of all, JavaScript has its flaws and also has its positives, but people still use it despite those flaws. Um, that is because it suits their use case. So the point is, whatever programming language you are going to use for whatever application you choose, for as long as it suits your use case, you can make it work. For as long as you know what you are doing. Take for example, if you are going to be building a a medical uh, application. When I say medical application, I'm talking about a medical system, a system architecture that is being used in machines like uh, uh, what they call all these their SAT machines in the hospital. That is that monitors the oxygen level and stuff like that. Sure, you can use JavaScript in that scenario, but in that use case, is JavaScript really the best? The answer kind of is no. But in terms of web applications, JavaScript is kind of like is okay. Same with other programming languages. But when you come to like security systems that deal with security, personally, and I believe uh, the software world will tell you JavaScript is a no-no in that area. You can use it to play around, but those kind of systems are best left for languages like C and the rest. So to answer your question, basically, JavaScript doesn't have an edge over any other language. It doesn't have any edge over any other language. Neither does any language have an edge over uh, JavaScript as well. You pick your poison, pick what you prefer, and use it to solve problems. Use it to solve the problem that you're having. Use it to make your money. All your languages, any language that they bring out, you can always use it to solve whatever problem it is. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yes. It answers
Uh,
it.
is there any other question that we can wrap up? Okay, if there is none, yeah, so we'll call it a day. So tomorrow's class will definitely be communicated early as 8 a.m. We'll know the scheduled time for tomorrow's classes. Probably we'll shift it to somewhat towards the evening to accommodate more people. But it appears most persons are probably still at work or on their way back from work or out basically. But we'll definitely communicate the schedule tomorrow. Like I've said, so just pay attention to uh, the channel where information will be communicated. And uh, please ensure your stage tags are set properly. That's one of the things that can carry you to low counter. So ensure your stage tags are set properly. Yeah, that'll be all. So good night, everybody.
No, thank you very much.